next, you're going to meet a woman who's determined to make a difference in the lives of children who have neurological disorders. Hello, I'm Shannon Skinner, and this is Extraordinary Women TV. My next guest is Dana Florence. She's the co-founder of 3-2B. Quite a story. She's a young mom, gave birth to triplets. All 3 of the triplets were born with cerebral palsy. And these children were the inspiration behind launching the organization 3-2B and put Dana on a path of wanting to make a difference for children with neurological disorders. Now, you'll meet her in a moment. Later in the segment, before we take a break, I'll have my regular Good to Know Minute. When I ask my guests for their top success tip, you'll hear Dana's. Well, Dana Florence, it is so nice to have you here.
It's nice to meet you, too.
Now, you have really quite an inspiring story. You were once a teacher. And, you know, when I spoke to you prior to the show, you said to me that all you really wanted to be was a mom, or that was certainly one of the most important things. Mm-hmm. And that day came. You were pregnant, and then you were pregnant with triplets, not just one, but triplets. Mm-hmm. And then life changed. So what happened?
Yeah, so when I gave birth to Taylor, Cole, and Brody, it came very unexpectedly. I was only 6.5 months pregnant, so 25 weeks. And my husband and I went into labor and preterm labor, and it was a very, very scary day. I'll never forget it. And we were in the hospital. You know, it was really a survival. It was survival for us, for the kids, and we didn't really know if they were even going to survive. So the fact that they did was really a miracle in itself. They had a 50% chance of survival born at that gestation. Wow. Yeah, so you can imagine, they had every test, every surgery, everything that you can ever imagine in the very beginning of their life, and it was a really scary time.
I know 2 of them had heart surgeries.
Yes.
Within weeks of being born, and,
yeah. And
one had ear surgery, and I'm sure that must have been quite a scary time for you.
It was one of those things where you take it day by day, and that's what the nurses and the doctors all tell you to do, is just take it day by day, because you really can't even wrap your head around the severity of going through this with your family, let alone 3 children at the same time. So 2 of them had heart surgery 6 weeks after they were born. So 2 of them were at the hospital for sick children, and the other one was at women's college, and it was just juggling the 3 of them and getting through the day. That's really what we tried to do, and just remain strong for our kids.
So you were in and out of hospitals every day for a number of months, mm-hmm. you and your husband.
Yes. Yeah, we were there for Cole was the first one who came home, and he was home after 4.5 months. Taylor, it was 5.5 months, and Brody was 6.5 months, only to come home for a week and then go back again for another 2 months. So really, he was in the hospital for about 8 months, and juggling home and being at the hospital was very difficult. I really don't know how we did it, looking back now, but we did, and we survived it somehow.
Superhuman energy and power must come into play at times. I mean, yeah. It's one child takes a lot of time. Mm-hmm. It's really hard to imagine 3.
Right.
And then to top that off, it's 3 that have special needs. Mm-hmm. So they require even that much more
absolutely
time and love and dedication.
Yeah, we didn't know that they had cerebral palsy until they were older, and they weren't reaching their milestones on time. So, you know, I was a teacher, and I was very, in tune with what they were supposed to be doing developmentally, and I was really concerned. And we did early intervention right from the beginning. The doctors made sure that my kids were getting physiotherapy and occupational therapy and every therapy under the sun, really, to make sure that they would meet these milestones, but they were developmentally behind. And then when we received the diagnosis, it was something that you can't even prepare yourself for. Even even knowing that this is a possibility because they were born so prematurely, you really cannot prepare yourself emotionally for that. And it was a really sad time for Jared and I, my husband. And we really quickly made a decision that although this was very difficult, we are going to do anything and everything for our kids to make sure that they have a happy, fulfilling, amazing, meaningful life.
So Dana, in terms of, I mean, it was obviously, it's a challenge. It was a challenging time, in those months in the first, for sure, I'm sure, first few years. But for you, where did you get the support or the strength to keep going? Was it your friends that you surrounded yourself with, family? I mean, did you have to dig deep and find, did it challenge your spiritual beliefs? I mean, what did you do? What did you have to do to shift within yourself to get through this time?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And, I think that your question, it also involves support. And really, that's where I found the strength, was in the support of the people who I love and the people who really stepped up to the plate to help us. And when you're in a situation like that, I think you really need to learn to rely on others. And a lot of the time, I think women in particular, it's really hard to rely on others. You kind of want to do everything yourself and be a superhero and be a super mom. And I really needed to rely on others to help me with, the day-to-day things, like helping me with, just running the house and doing all that kind of stuff, and driving everywhere and helping me with appointments and all of that. But also from an emotional point of view, I really needed that support from my friends and from my family, and they were fantastic, especially in that first year, and continue to be to this day. So I'm very fortunate in that way. And my husband and I also really had to rely on each other and work together on this, because it was the two of us.
And I would imagine that would also test your marriage as well.
Yeah, it does.
Did you find it made stronger?
It did. It did. Yeah. I think especially in that first year, we faced a lot of challenges. And I think if you don't go through difficult things in your life, you don't realize what you have to be thankful for. And we were really tested in a lot of ways. And we got through it. And here we are today. We're still married and still going strong. And yeah.
So this now inspired you to launch 3 to Be. So let's talk about the start of this organization.
Yeah. So, where
did the idea come from?
Taylor, Cole, and Brody, they, when they got diagnosed, as I said, we were willing to do anything and everything for them particularly. And what we realized very quickly was that, because I was up at night Googling what's out there, what's happening in terms of research and therapies for kids like my kids. And I was a little disappointed, to be honest with you, with what was happening out there. And so
you weren't getting answers.
I wasn't getting answers. And it kind of started taking me on this path of asking the questions, what's going on out there? And there wasn't enough. So my husband, he's an event producer, and that's what he does. He knows how to throw a really good party. And what we decided to do
comes in handy.
Yeah, it does. It does. What we decided to do was raise money for the Hospital for Sick Children. That's kind of how it originally started. Right. And Holland Bloor View Kids Rehabilitation Hospital for research for kids with neurological disorders. So at Sick Kids, we were focused on stem cell research and funding scientists to focus on the brain for children and coming up with therapies that can potentially help these kids down the road. And then at Bloor View, we were focused on rehabilitation. And there's a lot of innovative technology out there that can help these children, communication technologies and physical technologies like the Locomat, which is a robotic device that can help kids learn how to walk. And we decided to focus on these initiatives, have a party. Our first year we had a gala called the Stems of Hope Gala. It's now become an annual fundraising gala and the main source of the money that we raise. And it's been amazing, the response from the community and the amount of money that we've been able to raise just from this idea that we had. And it's grown into something so much greater than we could have imagined.
Well, and you're making a difference in the lives of other children. And it sounds like this is really only the start.
Right. Yeah. 3 to Be, now it started as a fund at these two organizations, and now it's grown into its own registered charity. We support innovative education therapies and treatments for children with neurological conditions. And we support research initiatives that are focused on neurological disorders in kids. And it's just amazing how, an idea can turn into something that now we've raised, over $1 million in 2 years. And
congratulations. That's
thank
great.
you. Yeah, it's very exciting.
Well, I know on your website you've got some great photos and video, and there was some coverage, of course, of the robot, the robotic device that you were able to purchase to help kids. And I know I did see this amazing video of this young boy using the robotic machine.
Yes. So
how does it work?
It's so last year at our gala, so for our second annual gala, the focus was to purchase this robotic local mat. And the little boy you saw in it, his name is Wesley. He's an ambassador for 3 to Be. He's incredible. And one of our donors at KRG, Children's Charitable Foundation, they made a very generous donation of $285,000 to go towards this $500,000 machine that we were able to purchase with the other donors that very generously contributed to this initiative. And we are so happy it's going to be put to use. CIBC, they also gave $500,000 to Holland Bloorview to fund the research taking place. And together, we were able to, get this program up and running. And it's for children with cerebral palsy. And it's this device that kind of hooks onto your legs and gives you that perfect gait pattern. And for children who can't walk, it gives them that response, and it's supposed to train your brain on how to do it and transfer it over to real life. So it has really, really big potential, and we're excited to bring it here to Canada.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
On that. It's incredible. So we're just going to take a quick break. And Dana, that means it's my good to know minute. And I know you've got a great success tip.
Yeah, I think, just being on this journey, it's made me realize that you should never underestimate your impact that you can have in this world. And, looking back a couple years ago to when we first started 3 to Be, I would have never imagined we'd be where we are today. And it just goes to show you really can accomplish anything. And it's a quality that I will definitely instill in my own children, to believe in themselves no matter what obstacles come their way. And I think we can all really take from that. And I try to remember that every day, that we really can make a difference.
Well, that's good to know. So thanks for that.
Thank you.
We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, more with Dana Florence, co-founder of 3 to Be. So please stay where you are. Welcome back to the show. I'm Shannon Skinner, and I'm speaking with Dana Florence, co-founder of 3 to Be. Quite an inspirational story. Now, 3 to Be, of course, is an organization that's meant to support children with neurological disorders, and in particular, cerebral palsy. What sort of initiatives are you planning for this year?
Yeah, so 3 to Be as a whole, actually, cerebral palsy is one of the neurological disorders that we focus on, but we're focused on neurological disorders in general. So it can range anything from epilepsy to autism to CP.
Right.
And this year, our focus is at the Hospital for Sick Children. We're going to continue to fund scientists there who focus on stem cell research, because stem cell really is the hope for regeneration. And actually,
super powerful cells.
Super powerful and incredible. It really is. I still get so excited whenever I speak to a scientist about the potential of stem cell, because it gives me a lot of hope for Taylor Colin Brody and for the thousands and millions actually of other kids out there affected by neurological disorders. So that's going to continue on. We're also focused on at Holland Bloorview this year. So last year we purchased the local mat, and this year we're focused on communication disorders. And there's a lot of kids who are almost trapped inside of their body. They're very bright, but they're unable to express themselves. So they're figuring out innovative communication technologies that can help these kids get out of themselves and be able to communicate with the world around them. And we're going to be funding engineers to focus on these types of technologies. So that's very exciting. And then the final one, because we have 3, is our education focus, which is at the Ontario March of Dimes. They're starting it's called the Academy of Conductive Education, and it's for kids with physical disabilities. And they're going to have this private school that's focused on the emotional, educational, social, and physical component of a child. And we're going to be purchasing a playground for them and some equipment to help these kids get around and, just get their program up and going. We're very excited.
So your children, how does cerebral palsy affect them?
So cerebral palsy is a disorder that really affects kids in all different ways. And you can really even see that in my own children. The severities are always different. So for Taylor, Cole, and Brody, all three are quite severe physically. And they're all in wheelchairs. They need help with the day-to-day stuff like going to the potty and feeding them and bathing them. And they're not able to do these things on their own. So they do need help in all these areas. And we have to do a lot of therapy and everything to get them up and moving all the time to make sure that their muscles don't get stiff and try and get them to be as independent as possible. That really is my ultimate goal. And all three of my kids are very smart, and we're very, very fortunate that cognitively they are right where they're supposed to be. And even sometimes smarter than, they're unbelievable. And they inspire me every day because they go through so many challenges and they don't even know it. They don't even realize. They just kind of attempt anything that they can. And, they walk around in their little walkers and they're all potty training, and 2 out of 3 are actually completely potty trained. At the age of 3 they were. And, I just never doubt what they're able to do because they always blow me away.
So it's as if they've really become really your life. I mean, how do you have a life beyond, the children? I mean, that must be, I'm sure, a challenge for you.
Right. I think, all mothers can relate, and it doesn't matter if you have a special needs child or not. You can relate to the fact that it's really hard to balance your life and make sure that you have time for yourself when you have a lot going on at home and a lot going on at work. And, I've had trouble sometimes trying to balance all those things, but I find that if I don't give myself time to, for example, go to the gym, that's one thing that I do for myself. And it's helped me become stronger. And it's also a time for me to kind of just, let go. And in turn, it actually helps the kids, right? Because then you have a healthier state of mind. And I think all mothers should try and focus and try to do a little bit for themselves. Even a date night with your husband is important, or going out with a girlfriend. And, all those things are important to just remember that you're a person on your own as well. And I have to remind myself, I'm not always the best at doing that, but I try to remind myself to do that as well.
Now, with the organization 3-2-B, what is your vision for it? For where does it go from here?
So 3-2-B, I can't even tell you how much joy it brings me, and how it's kind of taken this situation that we've had and made it into a positive one for us. Sometimes it's, it's just, I'm in love with it. I really am. It's become kind of a fourth child. And when you're passionate about something, you just will do anything for it. And that's what it is for my kids, and that's what it is for 3-2-B. My dream for 3-2-B is that it will be the charity for children with neurological disorders, because a lot of charities out there, focus on autism and CP, and where everyone's kind of working in their own sections and silos, I guess. And we're hoping that one day everyone will kind of come together, and 3-2-B can kind of be an umbrella for a lot of these organizations who all want the same thing, for these kids to have a chance to have a better quality of life, to, hopefully fund research that will make a difference. And that's really what we hope, is that all this money and all this hard work and energy that we've put into it will actually make a difference for kids.
Now, I understand with cerebral palsy, there's no known cure at this stage, at this point in time. But it sounds like the stem cell research that there's a lot of hope there.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential. And the word cure is really hard to wrap your head around. And a lot of doctors hate when I say that word. So I try not to. But, with stem cell, it's this miracle treatment, or not treatment even because it's in your body, but it's got so much potential to really make a difference, not just for neurological conditions, but conditions, all types of conditions. And it's really exciting what the future is. And I don't think we're that far away. I really don't. I think we're close. So
if there was one thing that you can change in your life now, a year at this point, reflecting back.
Wow.
Would you change anything?
Oh, wow. I mean, you know, that's a really, I don't even know, that catches me off guard. I don't like to look at life as, you know, would I change anything? You can't change anything, so it's best to kind of always look forward. And really that's what my whole thing has been for the last 4.5 years, is really try to take your situation. This is what's happened, and try and make the best of it. And that's really what we strive to do. And I hope that my kids one day will look back at this and know that we've done everything we can to make their life the best that it can be, and hopefully other kids as well.
Well, this has been very inspiring, and
thank you.
You know, I'm so grateful to have you here on the show, and then of course to be able to share your story with others, and so touching. So I wish you all the best with 3-2-B and your children. I hope that I'll get a chance to meet them one day.
I'd love that.
And, you know, in all your events that you've got coming up this year. So now if anyone wants more information about 3-2-B, the URL is 3to-b.com.
.org. Yes.
Okay, 3to-b.org.
Yeah. And it will have information on the Stems of Hope Gala, because that's coming up in September.
Great. Yeah. Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again, and
Thank
I
you.
wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.
Well, for more information about Dana Florence, of course, you can visit the website at extraordinarywomentv.com. There you can find information about past guests, upcoming guests, more about the show, more about me. And you can contact me through the website. Again, it's extraordinarywomentv.com. Follow me on Twitter. I'm on Facebook. Lots of places to find me. Well, if you are interested in transforming your life, I hope these stories have inspired you. You've been watching Extraordinary Women TV. I'm Shannon Skinner. See you soon.